and it was just Nikki debating, and we did, and it's all good. But I think that I'm proud of my record of leadership. She's not proud of her record because she's basically taken this position that if she's on TV saying something, that if you say, "Why did you say it?" she'll say, "She never said it and you're lying." But I think people look and they trust their own eyes in terms of what they see. So I think that tactic was really something Hillary has tried to do. I don't think it worked very well. I think people were like, you got to stop doing that. But that's just the difference. I mean, she was governor, did not achieve anything major in Florida. Every single thing I promised I would do, I delivered on. Everything that we've done is what Republican voters have been asking their Republican elected officials to do for years and years, and we did it all. Your governor is one of the few who's also delivered big for Republicans. Not a lot around the country have very lately. I'm also the only one running that if you look at all the problems in our country and who's causing them, particularly on the political left, I'm the only one running that's beaten these people time and time and time again. We beat the teachers' unions by doing universal school choice. We beat Fauci on COVID. We beat Soros on crime by removing these radical prosecutors. We beat the Democrats on election integrity by making sure we don't have ballot harvesting and we have universal voter ID. And we beat the left by banning China from buying land in the state of Florida. So on issue after issue, I've stood in there, I've fought for people, but I've won those big fights. And that's what we need to do again as a country. We need to win again. And yes, win the election, and that's important, and that keeps the Democrats out, and we definitely want to do that. But once you get in, you've got to convert on these promises. Don't just talk about securing the border, building the wall. Actually secure the border and build the wall. Don't just talk about draining the swamp. Actually drain the swamp and get the job done. So that's what you'll get with me when you're looking. And so Donald Trump would not debate. Look, I think you should expect your candidates to be willing to do things like debate. I think you should expect your candidates to be willing to come and take your questions, which I'm happy to do, in a few minutes here. I think just swooping in, giving a speech, swooping in last night and being on kind of his hometown news channel and doing that. And really not much critical. Look, that's ultimately not going to do the job in a general election where you got to be ready, you got to be battle tested, you got to prove that you can handle these situations, and I think that you have a right to expect that. Now, what he said yesterday was bizarre. He said because he was asked by an Iowan, basically, I think the questioner was just really frustrated with what happened during COVID and the lockdowns and Fauci. And she basically, I think, just asked him, like, can you guarantee us that you won't do that again? Because I think she was just looking for some recognition that was not the way to handle this in hindsight. And he didn't provide that. He said that he had nothing to do with Fauci. He blamed me for Fauci as the governor of Florida. Really? I'm the one that fought Fauci. We opened the state, the schools. I had half the country come to Florida because we were the free state of Florida. And so, he wouldn't accept responsibility for that and tried to blame me. And I just think that you should have a candidate that is just going to be honest and is going to take responsibility for what they did. Don't let him gaslight you and say he had nothing to do with any of this. It was the Fauci-Trump administration that initiated the lockdowns. That would have never happened but for them doing it. I think people would appreciate it if you just said, in hindsight, knowing what we know now, we would never have done that. We would have done it differently. But he's not willing to say that. He says that they did the right thing. And I can just tell you, in Florida, a lot of what we did in that year 2020 was fight back, yes, against the media and against the left, but we were fighting back against his administration. Kim Reynolds here was fighting back against his administration when she said schools needed to be open. They didn't like that. They were saying schools should be closed. They were saying some of the businesses, there should be mandates and stuff. So that was wrong. And I can tell you this, if I had been president, I would not have elevated Fauci and put him out in front of the public every day. I would have fired Fauci, because that's what should have happened, and we can never let what happened to this country happen ever again. And I'm going to bring accountability to all these agencies, from the CDC to the FBI to the NIH. You just wait, there'll be a new sheriff in town, and we're going to make sure that we don't ever repeat the mistakes of the past.